Большое спасибо,
Thank you very
уважаемые
much.
дамы и господа.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, good afternoon.
Как меня проинформировали, у вас
I've
уже
been
состоялась
informed that you had a professional discussion as part of the Future Technologies Forum, which this year focuses on the matters of bioeconomy. To build up on that, I would like to talk about the steps taken by the state to develop this most important area. And since we have not just the specialists and experts joining in, but rather a wider global audience, I would like to talk in more detail about what you're all aware of, but the wider public might not. Namely, what exactly is bioeconomy, what does it mean, and what are the practical implications and opportunities of it for humanity, the economy, agriculture, healthcare, what is the role played by bioeconomy in reinforcing the industrial and technological sovereignty of the country and environmental security. My colleagues have just introduced me to the most advanced developments presented here at the exhibition and the site of the forum. These are truly impressive. Using the laws and the wisdom of nature, unleashing its vast creative capacity, the scientists, the industrialists are creating solutions for life, for health, for active longevity. These are healthy foods. Although all high-quality foods are good for you and healthy, as well as food supplements, vitamins, vaccines, and I know that every year I hear promises of new vaccines coming up for this and that disease. Unfortunately, the healthcare minister is not here, but he always talks about the process of certifications and other technicalities. But I hope that no amount of red tape would become an obstacle for these important things for human health to emerge as soon as possible. We're also talking about advanced pharmaceuticals and even tissue, blood vessels, and human organs, which is no longer science fiction. Although we are not there yet to create a living human heart, but we're moving forward that. A wide spectrum of the applications of biotechnology is seen in industry, where instead of chemical substances and agents, we use natural microorganisms and other living systems as catalysts for complex technological processes, launching a closed cycle when one industry's waste becomes a raw resource for another industry and production. And I've been told about this for many years, and I'm grateful for that. These technologies are used in bioenergy, for environmental tasks, in agriculture, to increase the soil fertility, to protect the plants, to clear the water, the soil and the air. And when it's clean, we see fish coming to the water. Fish which requires good, clean water, and we succeed in that. You see that bioeconomy is much more than just an area of science. Through their bold ideas, the scientists and engineers are creating a new reality, a new way of industry. They apply the achievements in biology, genetics, to improve people's lives, to save our planet and its fragile ecosystem. In Russia, we are proud to say that we have made a great contribution to the development of life sciences through the discoveries and philosophy of Vernadsky, Mechnikov, Timorazov, Koltsov, Vavilov, Engelgard, and other distinguished Russian scientists, including modern ones. I will definitely come back to that during my today's speech. And we will continue building up on our capacity and move forward. Besides, biotechnology, reinforced with modern computation systems and artificial intelligence, are developing at an unprecedented rate. And they help us find solutions to the key challenges of our times, including climate change, the food scarcity, and the scarcity of non-renewable resources. They conserve for projects on our Earth, and I've always emphasized that equal access to future technologies, rather than privileges for the chosen few, are the prerequisite for a fair development of our civilization, which is why BRICS and other groups, and as part of bilateral cooperation, we stand ready to develop joint scientific, educational investment programs in biotech for the sake of all humanity. We intend to use the great capacity of bioeconomy to strengthen the nation's health and to find solutions to other priority tasks, to accelerate the technological and industrial development without detriment to the unique natural capacity of our country. This year, we've launched the National Project for Bioeconomy. Its main goal is to ensure sovereignty on a number of critical areas and to improve our positions and achieve leadership in some of the areas. I ask the government to establish a long-term vision, a national strategy of establishing a bioeconomy to the middle of the 21st century. This program should be reflected in the policy documents defining the tasks for the food and biosecurity of Russia, as well as tasks for systemic development of healthcare, energy, agriculture, industry and other areas. We are talking about the creation and implementation of cross-cutting, truly universal technologies and products, embracing basically all the areas, which is why it is important to organize the inter-industrial and supraministerial management in bioeconomy. Our steps should be aimed at vastly increasing its share in the national GDP. During the exhibition, we've seen the relevance of this task. The people from different areas are all talking about the same common goals. And this means we need to build up the financement for the national project and for any events and activities in the area of bioindustry. The main focus should be on the drawing of non-budgetary assets. We need to remove the obstacles for the involvement of businesses in the establishment of bioeconomy. To accelerate its development, we need to adjust the existing and to offer additional measures for the support of private investments, providing tax and other preferences to the companies creating and introducing such technologies. These tools, as well as others, are meant to work at all the stages, from research and development to the launch of advanced solutions and competitive products based on biotechnology, in order to make sure that the Russian biotech companies can carry out their long-term plans and get a faster return on investment. I will task the government to suggest active mechanisms for the development and protection of the domestic biotech market and to develop various scenarios of their use in the industries and areas of our economy and social sphere. We see how much our competitors are investing in the development of such technologies. We definitely need to protect our domestic market through modern market means, but we definitely need to do that. We need to establish a systemic demand for such innovations on the domestic market, and we need to build up the production, taking a decent place at the global market of bioeconomy, which is why we need to build an efficient system of supporting the exports of bioproduction with a high added value. We need to promote our achievements and standards and technological platforms in other countries of the world. My colleagues, and especially the Russian audience, will understand me. We work with our closest neighbors. We have good relations with them, and we have established cooperation in many areas which has been existing for decades. The most important matter is having our own scientific devices, equipment, enzymes, biocatalysts, and other critical components. These are the key areas where we need to move from import substitution to the launch of globally competitive products. using our own national platforms and solutions. I will ask to amend the national project on bioeconomy with specific solutions in this area. Dear friends, in order to ensure accelerated bioeconomic development, we need a modern legislative and legal framework and a system of standards and rules for market access for biotech solutions. The legal framework should support the creation and fast introduction of innovations while ensuring security and high-quality production to the people and society. Let me emphasize that this goes true for all the areas from biopolymers for packaging to the artificially created organs and tissues. It is all important. We need to establish clear ethical borders of the use of biotechnology in order to prevent the potential threats to the health and life of the people. We also need to ensure the safety of people's personal data. But let me repeat, like in any other advanced area, we need to create conditions for scientific breakthrough. For example, in the area of unmanned vehicles and artificial intelligence, we have good experience of experimental legal framework. I suggest using the same experimental legal frameworks for life sciences, establishing platforms for the testing and development of controlled biotechnologies. We could use our innovative scientific and technological centers for that, including the well-known Sirius Federal Territory in Russia. I will also ask the Russian Science Foundation to provide the Evgeny Velekov grants to fund new solutions for the agricultural sector, biotechnological production, pharmaceuticals, healthcare and other industries. Such technologies should be developed with the use of biocomputations and artificial intelligence. Dear friends, I would like to invite the scientific teams to take active participation in the competition of the Russian Science Foundation. Its winners will have an opportunity within 5 years to get up to ₹500 million of financement from the state with co-financement from the leading Russian companies to fund their projects. We also employ the scientific infrastructure of the mega-science class to create new biotechnology. This year, in Koltsovo, in Novosibirsk, we're launching the Siberian circular photon source, and soon it will reach full capacity. In 2027, I believe, our scientists will gain access to this work. We stand ready to carry out international scientific programs for life sciences, biology, medicine and pharmaceutics using this platform in Siberia. It's important to make sure that the scientific and bioeconomic research are not just fundamental. We need to apply this research in order to build up the economical and technological capacity of the regions, in order to develop the vast territory of Russia. For example, in the northwest of the country, we need to establish the processing of the lumber and timber products. In the Far East, we need bioproduce based on the aquatic resources. In Siberia and in the south of Russia, we need the processing of our grains. These are only a few areas of the vast regional bioeconomic programs. They should take into account the specific features of the territories, the resources, and the economic specialization. And the regions should have the qualified personnel and technology for that. Therefore, I suggest that the regions of Russia, based on our universities and scientific institutions, should establish a vast network of engineering centers for the interests of bioeconomy. Such centers would shorten the path from lab research to full-scale industrial production, opening access to scientific equipment, to the computational capacity for scientific teams and students, as well as for smaller tech companies from all over the country. Let me emphasize that they should become full-fledged participants of the National Bioeconomy National Project. And this is the most important thing. I believe you will all agree. The main component is the specialists, the people, The people like you, the experts who will be building this bioeconomy. We must admit that so far the knowledge and the skills of many alumni of universities and institutions are lacking behind the current level of the development of biotechnology. Sure, this is a new, advanced area, therefore there is still much to be done. The professional training challenge is one of the hardest systemic ones, and we should find a solution to this challenge. Here is the first thing we should do. We need to ensure professional training for universities and professional training who would be professional in their interdisciplinary area of biology, chemistry, engineering, artificial intelligence. Together with the businesses, we should update the professional educational programs, expanding the practical studies for the students at the industrial platforms. We need to take into account the latest advancements in microbiology, genetics, bioinformatics, which is why I suggest creating advanced engineering schools in our universities and expand the professionality national project to embrace these areas. Second point, I task the government, together with the regions and businesses, to review their forecast for the demand for professionals in biotech. We need to take into account the high demand for new, skilled people and professionals, and, if needed, increase the number of scholarships for the studies of students in the regions of the Russian Federation. Third point, we need to work with the school pupils, keeping in mind the needs of the biotech. We need to expand the school studies for science and technology and life sciences. We need to launch a program to popularize bioeconomy in schools with the involvement of the leading mass media and internet platform. The earlier the people learn about this area, the better. This is a very complex, complicated area of research. I would like to use this opportunity to thank the Russian biotech companies, scientists, philanthropists, enthusiasts for their educational activities. We need to keep working in this area, opening new horizons and professional pathways for the youth, for the new generations, for all the citizens. This, so to speak, propaganda is very important in a positive sense, but it should be timely. Dear friends, at this forum, we always talk about new areas and developments that define the future of humanity. Achievements in biology, genetics, other life sciences are called technologies of the 21st century, and this name is justified. With the IT industry and artificial intelligence, they are transforming economy and science and society, creating opportunities for millions of people. I suggest that the next forum should focus on the creation and implementation of digital platforms in our lives. Even now, they serve to implement scientific projects. They bring together a master, an entrepreneur from a small town with its clients from the cities. They let the people to control and manage their housing estates, villages and entire regions. These systems analyze medical research in the shortest term, helping the doctors save people's lives. And these are only a few areas of the platform economy. And Moscow has good progress in this area. We recently discussed this. For example, a person calls an ambulance, and while it moves to the patient, the doctor's screen has the entire medical files. The doctor already knows what the ambulance has to take and what has to be done in order to save a life. And this is only one example of these new advanced platform solutions. In this area, Russia creates world-class solutions. We are ready to share our experience in the interests of the entire humanity. I gladly invite all of you to join work and to take part in the 2027 Future Technologies Forum. Thank you for your attention. All the best to you. And I believe I will see some of the colleagues now to continue our discussion. Thank you.